Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo, and welcome to week 61. This is the new scheduling thing. Halfway through the week, just on a Wednesday. It's gonna be kind of weird. I'm gonna try this, see if this works. But I'm gonna start with my weigh-in, and then we'll end with goals, and in the middle, sort of talk about what's been going on this week. Not much, because there was one up on Saturday, or video on Saturday. First things first, though. Thankfully, on my way in, last week, I revamped not really revamped it, but took a look at all the stuff I was doing wrong. Snacking a little too much on the weekends, not really, properly doing what I needed to do. So, I just went back to sensible snacks throughout the run of the week and had a significant dip in my weight. So, which is really, really nice. I don't think it was all just because of that one week. I think it was sort of the aftermath of, having that week where I was eating junk food. Not the entire week, just on the weekend, and then having that weigh-in. So I don't think the entire weight loss was due just to the snacking thing. I think part of it was, leftover stuff in my stomach from the week before. Anyway, down a little over 3 pounds. So officially at a weight where I'm at my lowest I've ever been, which is really, really nice to see. So even just that small change helped. So I'm going to keep doing that throughout this week. And it's what I've been doing. Just sort of normally weekends are my days or Saturdays really, are my days when I'm a little more lax. Obviously I shouldn't be. I want to get down to my goal weight. And just not having that progress over 2 months was ridiculous. So back to where I need to be. But something happened yesterday that kind of surprised me because it hasn't happened to me in a long, long time. I was doing stuff at work and something happened. I screwed up at work and was called on it, which is fine because, it was kind of a weird screw up. Anyway, just really felt shitty about it because it was one of those really stupid things when you're like, you know what? I had this discussion with someone today about how not to do this, and then I went in and I did it because I'm an idiot. Anyway, so of course, on the way home, I'm still just sort of grumbling and pissing and moaning and everything else. And it dawns on me that for the first time in a long time, in my head, the only thing I could think of was food. And specifically, pizza. Just sitting there just going, I want, and then it just it grew and grew and grew to a point where I was just sitting there going, I want lots and lots of bacon and cheese over bread, and I want to eat 5,000 pieces of pizza. Pretty much right away, it dawned on me, no, you don't want to do that. That I haven't sort of had that reaction to any sort of stressful situation in a really, really long time. But it just sort of, immediately I was like, whoa, no, I can't do that. Because it just sort of shows that even after a year, getting away from just instantly that knee-jerk reaction and responding by eating something doesn't entirely go away. Different things are still going to sort of trigger that, for me anyway. So as soon as I was able to recognize it, though, it was, okay, I'm not doing it because I'm like, I'm so hungry, I want pizza. It was a reaction to the situation. And it wasn't even really anything major. It was just I felt like, I was stupid. So, of course, you beat yourself up, and that sort of brings back all those old feelings of, I'm going to beat myself up. Best way to do that, of course, is to eat, 10,000 calories worth of stuff. You will be happy to know I did not do that. Came home, had vegetables and tofu and healthy stuff. I did fine. But it sort of surprised me because it's something that I kind of thought at this stage, it's something I haven't really thought of, but I kind of just had it in the back of my head that I was done with that. But apparently not. And when you think about it logically, I've got 4 decades of that behavior to break. It's not going to go within a year, so it's just something I have to look out for. But it was nice to be able to recognize it right away and say, okay, well, I'm not doing this because I'm hungry. I'm doing this because it's a reaction to the stress. And I've said before that none of us are really fat because we're hungry all the time. And for those of you that are out there going, oh, my sister's cousin's brother's boyfriend's former roommate, it's like, no, are we talking about people that have some weird genetic disease that makes them hungry all the time? No, we're not. So shut the fuck up. We're talking about regular people that are just fat all the time, like me, like you, where we did it because we were overeating all the time. We didn't get obese by being hungry all the time. So it's not something that, I can say, well, obviously I'm starving, so I must have to have something, and so I'm just going to automatically go for something bad. But one thing I did realize this week is that, oddly enough, when I sort of think back, because it's one of those things that you don't notice until you actually stop and think about it and realize it, it's kind of like noticing that something is too quiet. For those of you that have kids, you know something's gone horribly, horribly wrong when all of a sudden there's no noise and your little kids are busy doing something that they shouldn't be. Which I do have a story I do want to tell about that. It's not my story, but it's a friend of mine who has kids. And she had that moment where she had two young boys, and it sort of dawned on her that they weren't screaming and tearing the house apart. And so, of course, she goes looking for them. And she found one of them anyway. She's calling out their names, and at the end of their hall is where their bathroom is. So he came out of the bathroom and just went, "It's not wet in there," and went into his room. So, of course, the rest of her night was spent cleaning up a tremendous mess, because he had decided to stick a towel in the sink, turn the faucet on, and then couldn't get the towel out, couldn't figure out how to turn the faucet off. But they're kids. They're all stupid. So, anyway, completely unrelated to what I want to say, but I tell that story, to quite a few people, because it always gets a laugh. Because I think it's funny, because I don't have to deal with that shit. Anyway, what was I talking about? Being hungry, yes. So it's something that I didn't notice until I stopped and thought about it. Just like, oh my God, it's actually quiet. So the same sort of thing that since losing the weight, since starting to really watch what I'm eating and just in general over the past few months, I'm hungrier now in general and more often than I ever was when I was obese. Well, I'm still obese. I'm still obese. When I was 300 pounds, I'll put it that way. Because when you're 300 pounds, it's not a matter of going, it's lunchtime, so I'm hungry, I haven't eaten in a while. It's just simply I'm starving all the time, and we really aren't. It's just that we aren't full, so we equate that to being hungry. And it's always been one of the concerns that we've had about dieting and exercise and everything else, is that, and you hear it all the time when people are like, oh, you can eat whatever you want, so we aren't going to be hungry, or people say, you'll be able to lose weight, but you won't be hungry. That being hungry is a real fear that I think a lot of us have when we're trying to lose weight, especially when we're first starting to get into it. And but what I've noticed is that now when I'm hungry, it's a legitimate hunger. It's because I know, and I'm not to a stage where I'm going, I need fuel, I must have sustenance. I'm not that much of a douchebag yet. It's to a point, though, that when I do start getting hungry, I know it's usually because it's close to lunchtime or dinner time or something. And so I know, oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to have something at my mealtime, which is a really weird thing to sort of realize that you've become accustomed to, because obviously it's not the end of the world if I'm hungry for a bit. But it's always been sort of the number one thing that we look at when we're dieting. We're like, I'm always going to be starving. And I'm not. It's just that I know, when it's getting close to lunchtime, I start getting hungry. And it's different because it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Enough that I didn't really notice it until I stopped and thought about it today. Same thing, or yesterday. Same thing with the stress eating. Something like that, when you can actually sort of realize, oh, this is something that I used to do all the time, or this is something that I thought in the past, and realize how much you've changed. It's a weird feeling. Because it doesn't feel really like an accomplishment or anything. It just feels like, that's different. Obviously the stress eating thing is still very, very much at the forefront. So it's something that I need to watch out for. But the fact that I was able to recognize it right away and, not do anything with it, I think says something, that we have come a lot farther than we were a year ago. Because a year ago, it still would have been a matter of, I'm stressed out, I'm going to have this, and I would make all sorts of excuses, which I have been during the past couple of months anyway, of saying, well, I've been doing really well. I had a dip in my weight loss on Sunday when I did my weigh-in. So yeah, middle of the week, I should be fine. I'll have pizza, and of course then you don't just have pizza. You end up buying extra cheese and pepperoni and all the other stuff, which is fine because you can still have that. But knowing me the way that I am, it would turn into, well, I can have that now. And then next week, well, I can do it again. And then the week after that, I can do it again. So that I'm still just sort of stuck at that plateau. When I said last week, the fact that I'm running a 5K every morning and I still am not really losing weight tells me that there's something wrong with my diet. So hopefully this week I'm going to continue on what I was doing last week, and I'll have another drop and, sort of back on track again. So that's my goal for this week, is just to sort of stay on target. Stay on target. I was going to say track, and then it turned into target. So that's why I went target. So staying on target and hopefully getting another little bit of a loss in. The loss that I had on Sunday was just over 3 pounds, and I don't think I'm going to do that again. Just because I think the actual weight loss is probably like 1.5, maybe 2 pounds. Because the weigh-in before, of course, was one when I realized I was doing this and thought, okay, I need to stop. So it was like a week and a bit. So, but I'm thinking that if I continue on the way that I have been going, now that I'm back on track and I'm not Saturdays are still my sort of relaxed days, but I'm staying under my calorie count. I'm not saying, well, I can have 2 or 3 great big handfuls of this and 2 or 3 handfuls of that, and say because I've done well all week, I want to keep it going. I want to keep Saturdays as being the same as Fridays and Wednesdays and Mondays and everything else, where I'm eating properly, because I'm not at a stage yet where I can maintain my weight. I can maintain my weight that I'm at now, but I don't want to. I'm still 50 pounds overweight. I want to, or 50 pounds obese, let's be honest. So I want to get those 50 pounds off and then, do the exercisey thing even more so that we can I can get to where I want to be. But I'm on the right track anyway, and it was nice to sort of see that, that one little change of not taking, that's the weird thing, not taking one cheat day. And really, it's pretty much just that one day. I mean, there was the whole sunflower seed thing as well, which I think contributed to it. But taking one day a week and saying, well, that's my cheat day, obviously is not for me. Not yet. So that Saturday, I decided I'm just going to take like my water or frozen grapes, like regular snacks sort of thing, or just do without a snack. I don't have to have that as an excuse to do it. And then once I'm back on track and I start losing again, I'll feel better, which I do. It's worked out really well. So I'm hoping that where this is sort of in the middle of the week now, that I can show or sort of say, here's where I was at the beginning of the week. So started off well. I'm in the middle now, so I'm still going strong. Still fought off the pizza thing. Still, addressed the I'm stress eating sort of thing. Dealing with the hunger thing, which is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then looking ahead to the end of the week. So just sort of keeping on the way that I'm going. And then hopefully Sunday see another dip. And even if it's only like a pound or so, I'll know that I'm doing the right thing. I know that I'm still on track. And I can just sort of keep on going. So it doesn't feel like I'm ending this, and saying it's the end of the week. Now I have the night that I can do whatever I want. Because obviously that has caused problems for me over the past 8 weeks. I feel really bad that I haven't made very much progress during the past couple of months. I've still gone down a tiny bit, but not nearly as much as I should have. And I really wish I could just say, oh, it's a plateau. I've hit something. I haven't. I just have really sort of failed all the way around. I knew that I was going to be taking some time off, but I'm hoping that by doing these, a couple of videos a week, it's going to keep me on track, because one video a week certainly ain't cutting it. So there we go. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this week. We're going to still do these on Wednesdays. Halfway through, I think, is a nice point, because it feels like there's a little bit more continuity to it. It's not... There's nothing saying the week is over, so now we can do this. Now the next week is over, we can do this. And it's sort of physically getting back into it. With this, it's going to be sort of continuing on, which I've already said. So I'm going to shut up. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. In the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video.